Namaste, welcome to Monday morning yoga. And this morning we are going to focus on strengthening the upper back, opening the chest in preparation for prone back bending. I've just recorded a short warm up for prone back bending and a short cool down of counterbalancing, counter poses. So those are two short videos available when you want to do this practice, but perhaps not the full 90 minutes. Today we're going to use a belt or something that gives us length just to do a little bit of shoulder mobility. So a scarf would work just as well. I'm going to use a bolster. You might use a rolled up blanket or something similar. I've got a couple of brick blocks, probably only going to use one of these, and a spongy block or a folded blanket that can go underneath the knee that's down on the floor when we come to do that sort of work, just to protect. So have these pieces of equipment close by. I'm just going to pop them slightly out of the way. And we're going to need our belts first, so they can stay quite close, and then we will get started. So coming into any comfortable standing position, you can rest your hands on your heart, if you like, on your belly, or just down by your side, whatever works for you. We're going to find our way tall. So we tend to do a little bit of slouching with the upper shoulders, a little bit of rounding, which is why we're going to spend some time strengthening that area and opening the chest. But we can begin to feel that sense of length and lift, even in just our standing pose. Here, closing your eyes or gazing gently downwards, take a moment to allow your weight to drop into your feet. See if you can sense whether you're in a place of balance, if your weight is evenly distributed, toes to heels, left to right. Maybe gently soften your knees. Feel a gentle lift through the pelvic floor and the belly muscles, just enough to feel that they're switched on and supportive. Soften the tops of the shoulders. Let the arms be heavy. Feel the front of the throat, the back of the neck, and see if you can have a sense of balancing those two lengths out so that the chin is in a neutral spot, the head is centered over the spine. Notice how you feel in this moment. Any areas of the body that are feeling out of sorts or stiff or uncomfortable, working gently with them throughout this class. Noticing at least one part of the body that feels peaceful and at ease. Feel that sense of ease, that sense of softness ripple out into touching other areas of the body. Maybe softening the forehead and the jaw. And find your breath. It may already have changed its rhythm into a slower, deeper, steadier breath. See if you can have a sense of which parts of the body move as you breathe. So a gentle engagement across the belly. And see if you can feel the rib cage moving as you breathe. The sides of the body, perhaps the back of the body, the shoulders, the shoulder blades. See if you can gently deepen your breath to feel more movement across the upper back. that sense of filling the lungs, maybe engaging a little bit more strongly as you exhale to empty completely. Softening your forehead and your jaw and your shoulders to keep that breath without tension. At the end of your next exhalation, draw both palms together at the center of the chest, lifting your chest slightly. Take your chin towards your chest, gently smiling to yourself. And when you're ready, raising your head, releasing your hands, opening your eyes, giving your shoulders a little roll. And we can begin, now we have centered and we're feeling a little bit more zen, we can begin the movement part of our practice. So the feet stay in the same position. We're just going to soften the knees a little deeper, lift in the pelvic floor and the belly, and gently twist from side to side. As you move here, perhaps allowing the hips to move with the shoulders a little bit, as long as it doesn't twist in your knees. Focus on the softness and heaviness of the shoulders, arms, and hands. See if you can tap into that childlike quality of Kati Chakrasana, where it's almost a flinging twist, but it's just a touch more controlled. You get that sense of letting go of tension across the body. When you're ready, you can begin to press into the feet, maybe center the hips a little. And as you twist, you resist that twist with the legs, get a sense of awakening the sides of the body, perhaps even the sides of the upper back. When you're ready, you can free your feet to pivot on the toes, lifting one heel and then the other. It doesn't matter if you lift the knee that you're turning towards or turning away from. So just do what comes naturally, what coordinates naturally for your body. They are both useful movements to make. When you're ready, you can add a soft bend in the knees. When we do our prone back bending, postures like the cobra, the locust, the bow, but particularly with cobra, we need to support that movement with the low body. So just wakening up those muscles, beginning to develop a sense of strength across the legs to support the movement of the rest of the body. When you're ready, you can let your bounce go. And then bring your feet to steadiness and sway back to center, just losing your momentum a little at a time. When you come back to center, take a couple of moments to roll the shoulders, maybe draw the chin towards the chest and then the chin up in coordination with your movement. And you can go the opposite way. Same thing, as the shoulders go back, the chin is lifted. As the shoulders come forward, the chin comes forward as well. Very good. Coming to an upright position, the neck plays quite a pivotal role in back bending because it's part of the spine. So we're just going to ease out the neck a little bit. Let's start with the chin retracted. Take the right ear to the right shoulder. Just see if that's enough length or if pressing your left palm and shoulder down creates a better sense of space for you. And then here, gently lifting and lowering the chin. That is optional. You can simply hold the side stretch if you prefer. We want to do about 3 of these slow, steady, nodding movements. And then from this side position, gently bringing your head back to center, wriggle the shoulders, notice how it feels differently on the left and right sides of the body. Retract your chin again, create that length, that centered head position, and then left ear to left shoulder. Just see if that's enough space. That feels almost like enough space for me, but if you would like to, you can press your right palm and shoulder down. And then from that sideways position, if you like, you can gently lift and lower your chin. Just a slow, steady nodding, feeling the connections and the sensations in the body. When you're ready, you can gently bring your head back to center, make any movements that feel good with your body. Aces. Let's take our awareness into our left shoulders, and we're going to roll the shoulder. And I'm sort of getting quite involved with that, but we can just keep the shoulder an isolated movement, and then rolling through the arm, using the elbow to create a little bit of space under the arm, maybe awaken that left side of the body, then the whole of the arm. And really feeling, again, the connections between the different parts of the body. If you want to, you can press into your feet, firm your belly, and begin to move the rest of the body as your arm moves. So feel what supports the movement of your arm across your chest, your shoulders, your upper back, across the arm itself, perhaps. And allow your head to move with your movement, as long as that doesn't make you feel dizzy. Feel support from the legs and the core muscles. Let's do one more in this direction. And when you come back to center, observing the difference between the two sides of the body, perhaps you can begin to feel how much warmer and more active that side, vibrant, alive that side feels. And then we'll move the right side, just moving the shoulder. And generally, I would recommend rolling backwards. When you're ready, you can allow your elbow to join in, because it's easier for us to focus on strengthening the upper back when we roll backwards. Now the whole arm, feeling those connections, what has to move to help you move, where you feel the sensations, and then pressing into the knees, pressing into the feet, softening the knees, firming the belly, and allowing the rest of the body to join in. And notice here, there's a very natural switching on of the belly muscles and the muscles of the side of the body and the back of the body. See if you can just feel what supports your movement. And then it's easier for us to switch on that support in our posture work. Let's do one more of these. And rest the right arm back to the side, just feeling the effect. So hopefully that space across the upper back particularly is beginning to feel alive, but perhaps you have a lovely sense of space here across the chest as well. Fingers crossed, that's the plan. So let us do a little bit of work with our belts. We're going to take our belts, we're going to do some up and overs. Up and overs. These are technically called shoulder dislocates, but I find that is quite a disturbing name. So up and overs is what we're going to call them. So we want the belt to be nice and wide, wider than the width of the body. Feet can be as wherever it suits you. I'm feeling quite grounded here with this wider position. And then we're reaching the arms forward, and we want to take the arms up to the point where we feel resistance. Now I feel that resistance across the tops of my shoulders. So feel resistance. We feel like perhaps we couldn't go any further without lifting the shoulders up. And then when you get to that point, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to breathe in and lift the shoulders, and breathe out, draw the shoulders down, feel that space engaging across the upper back, and then just see if there's a little bit more room to move. And if there is, moving into that space, and if there isn't, widening your hands slightly on the belt. And then when you get to your next point of resistance, breathing in as you lift the shoulders up, breathing out as you draw the shoulders down, and just seeing if there's a little bit more space to move into. If not, widening the hands. Meet your resistance, breathe in as you lift, breathe out as you lower, See if you can move into a little bit more space. And again, breathing in as you lift, breathing out, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, just seeing if there's a little bit more space, maybe widening the hands on the belt. And we're doing this as many times as we need to really smoothly bring the arms down behind the body. And when the arms come down behind the body, we just want to give ourselves a little roll through the shoulders, make sure we're not creating more tension than we need. And then to come back, widening your arms just that little touch further so that you get a really nice, easy movement back. So it really flows. There's no clunking one shoulder and then the other. There's no need to bend the elbows. Let's do that. We'll do it one more time. If you really want to improve, then 3 times every day until it feels like your shoulders are really open. So we're reaching the arms forward. The hands are only just wider than the body, reaching the arms forward. Get to wherever your resistance point is. Breathe in as you stretch the arms away and up. Breathe out as you draw the shoulders back down, and then just see if there's a little bit more room to move. And hopefully it should feel easier on this round. Breathing in as you lift, breathing out as you lower, and just seeing if there's a little bit more room. Widening your hands on the belt whenever you need to. Breathing in to lift, breathing out to lower, moving into the space you've created. Breathing in to lift, breathing out to lower, widening your hands on the belt, and just coming into that smooth downward motion behind the body whenever you feel that you're ready to do so. At the bottom of the movement, giving your shoulders a little wriggle, and then just widening the hands a little bit on both sides so that you've got the arms wide enough to easily, smoothly reach back and over again. Smashing stuff. We're going to take our belts and put them to one side. As I say, in your longer term preparation practice, or the things that you wriggle out every day, if you want to warm up as we've done, do 3 of these up and overs, then you'll find that your shoulders improve their mobility really quite quickly. We're going to interlace the fingers, stretch the backs of the hands away from each other, chin to chest, scoop the belly in, and then here it's as if you're trying to separate your hands from each other, as well as pressing the backs of the hands away. You can really feel that stretch engaging across the arms, the shoulders, the upper back. You can even give yourself a little sway or twist with the upper body and the arms from side to side, pressing into the feet, holding the knees a little bit soft. When you're ready, coming back to the center, standing tall as you turn the palms outwards and upwards, lifting the arms up. We're going to lift the shoulders and then bring the shoulders down, just as we did with our up and overs, and then just a gentle sway, firm in the belly, little soft in the knees, firm in the buttocks, little gentle sway from side to side. Maybe one more time to each side. Nice and long in the arms if you can. When you come back to center, separating the arms, float them down to the sides. We're going to interlace the hands behind the body. So rolling the palms of the hands towards the spine. And then we're going to roll the shoulder blades towards each other and bring the palms of the hands towards each other. Here, the elbows are bent, and we want to ease the elbows towards each other as well. So we come into this really open position for the chest, and the thing that people mostly do is they drop their chins forward to counterbalance. So we want to bring the head to be centered, just as it was when we did our neck movements earlier. So to begin with, just feeling how this feels, this strong engagement of the upper back, the space across the front of the body, and then lengthening your arms, maybe even allowing the hands to come down towards the buttocks, maybe lifting the chin a touch, engaging in the belly muscles, a little bit in the legs, maybe feel a gentle lift across that space in the front of the body, perhaps a stretch of the space underneath the ribs. And then from here, we're going to slide the back of the left hand to the right hip. And that tucks that left arm really strongly into the left side. We're going to tuck the right elbow in as well. And here we're going to turn the head to the right shoulder. And that might feel like enough. Maybe that feels good to you. But if it doesn't, you can do a little lean of the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then we're shaking the head. So lifting the chin up towards the left and allowing the chin to come down towards the right. Little diagonal shake of the head, no. And it's not really a shake because we're doing it slowly. We're doing 3 of these, just feeling the connections. When you're ready, bring your right ear to your right shoulder and then your head upright. Relax the arms for a moment. So still keeping the fingers interlaced. Maybe interlace your fingers the opposite way if you haven't changed that, or if you don't normally practice the other way. And then we're rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, elbows in, lengthening the arms down to open the chest, feel that lift in the belly, and then sliding the back of the right hand to the left hip, tucking the left elbow in, turning to look over the left shoulder. That might be enough. If it feels like enough, that's fine, just hang out here. If not, you can take your left ear towards your left shoulder, slight turn of the chin then. And then if you want to do a little bit more, lifting your chin up to the right and down to the left, as if you were slowly shaking your head no. Keeping that left elbow tucked in, feeling the connections between everything going on in the upper body. When you're ready, the left ear can come to the left shoulder, head back to center, relax the arms and release the fingers and just give your wrists a little roll. Elbows, definitely not. Fantastic stuff. Sorry, I've worn my engagement ring today and that is really uncomfortable. That's why I don't normally wear it. So just a little wriggle of the shoulders. And hopefully that's beginning to feel really, really good across the neck and the shoulders. There's lots of space. Maybe you've been able to release a bit of tension. But if you find that you've created tension, just giving yourself a little light kneading massage on either side. We are going to come down now to the mat to do a little work in cat-cow, the lunge and downward facing dog. Awesome stuff. So I'm going to have here a little block handy, which could be a folded blanket just to go underneath your knees. And we haven't done massive wrist preparation, but so if you need a little bit more wrist preparation for weight bearing on your hands, we're not going to do that much, but just bear in mind you might want to give your wrists a little release every now and again. So here we're going to come to hands and knees, and we're going to start mobilizing more of the spine in our cat-cow position. So pressing the tops of the feet down, scooping the belly in and lifting in your pelvic floor. In our elbows, we want to have lengthened arms, but not locked straight. So a little softness across the elbows, have that sense of pressing the hands into the mat and away from each other, which really engages the upper back. When you're ready, you can inhale as you look forward, opening the chest, and then exhale as you round through the spine and chin to chest, scooping the belly in. Maybe the shoulders and the hips come slightly towards each other. Pressing into the tops of the feet as you open the chest, breathing in, and pressing into the tops of the feet, scooping the belly in, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. Let's do 3 more of these, just really simple cat-cow movements. If you prefer to coordinate your breath the opposite way, absolutely go for it. See if you can have a sense of that movement happening through the spine into the neck and lengthening the front and the back of the body. Maybe just 1 more. And then when you're ready, you can take your weight off your hands, just bring the backs of the hands towards each other and roll through the wrists. Nice little release. If you do get sensitive wrists, sometimes it's nice at this point to just massage the back of the wrists a little bit with your thumb and ease out any feelings of sensitivity there. And of course, we get more adept with a bit more practice. Not that you need to get more adept with your wrists, but you just get used to it and you can tolerate a little bit more. So we're going to come back into this hands and knees position, but we're going to do scapular rolls. So we're mobilizing the upper back. So it's very similar. If you practice first that sensation, that movement of rolling the shoulders, we're going to go in both directions. So rolling the shoulders, and you can feel across your upper back and your chest what is happening. It's the same thing when we come into hands and knees. So we're in our hands and knees position, really rooting down through the fingertips as well as the heels of the hands, scooping the belly in, a little soft in the elbows, and it's that same motion, rolling the shoulders, but with the hands in place on the mat. Try to avoid sticking your chin down, so by looking slightly forward towards the end of your mat, and then going the opposite way, feeling the movement across the upper back. And some people feel like they're just going up and down, or side to side, front to back, if that makes sense, instead of rolling. But with a little bit of practice, you will get this sensation of rolling. It's just getting used to moving the body in a different way. When you're ready, you can come off your knees, again, rolling out your wrists. And hopefully that part of the upper back is beginning to feel really alive, really energized. Shake out the wrists if it feels good. So we're going to put this into a moving cat and see if we can feel that sensation of gliding. So we're really tapping into that sensation of the shoulder blades gliding up and down as we move the arms, the shoulders, and the upper back and the chest. So it's great if you feel it. If you don't feel it yet, don't worry, it comes with practice. So let's start with the hands and knees where they were, but then move the knees a little bit further backwards. We're going to do a much more dynamic moving cat. So nice firm hands, dropping the hips towards the heels. I like to tuck my toes under to get a bit better purchase with the feet. Forehead towards the floor, touching the floor if you can. Then from here, we're going to scoop the belly in, press off the feet to round through the spine. As we come forward, we're going to open the chest, maybe soften the elbows a little. The hips maybe come towards the floor a touch, but not too far. And then we're rounding through the spine, pressing through the hands and taking the hips towards the heels. So rounding through the spine forwards, pressing off the feet, glide the shoulder blades down the back as the shoulders come over the hands to open the chest. Feel the buttocks switch on. And then rounding through the spine, feel the shoulder blades gliding up as your chin comes back towards your chest, lengthening forehead to the floor. Let's do 3 more of these, pressing off the feet, softening the elbows, feeling that gliding sensation in the upper back. This is a bit like a waving vinyasa, but with the knees down. Very good. That's just tapping into that sense of what opens the chest and what rounds the spine. And let's just do 1 more. Using the feet and the legs and the buttocks for support. And then as we come back, let's take a little child's pose. We'll take the knees apart, tuck the toes flat, toes towards each other, forehead to the floor. If it feels comfortable here, you can turn the palms of the hands upwards, which sort of provides a different resting position for the shoulders. You might feel a sense of being able to lengthen across the shoulders in a different way, maybe release tension in a different way. And it's quite nice to soften the hands a little, take the weight off the wrists. Soften your belly muscles, your face, just taking a few deep breaths. When you're ready, you can pad your hands back towards you and come into an upright kneeling position. If you need to give your wrists a little bit of a roll, please do that as well. Oh, excuse me. So we're going to do a little lunge series, and we're going to stick, if you need a support, underneath your left knee, and then come up to an upright kneeling position. See if you need to adjust your clothing as I do, and step the right leg forward. So here, we're just in this quite square lunge position. We want to feel the top of the back foot, that left foot pressing down, so that we can stabilize. If you want to tuck your toes under, you can, if you feel that's better for you. And then we're just moving a little bit in and out of this lunge. So we're beginning to feel a little bit of opening of the left hip, but also just practicing to mobilize the hips. This also helps to mobilize the lower back and create some stability in the legs. So after we've done about 4 or 5 of these, we're going to use our arms to do a little bit of action as well. So reaching the arms forward as you open your chest, and then drawing the elbows back and down opens the chest even more, releasing the arms to the side. If you want to, you can move with the legs a little bit in a way that feels natural to you. So we're going to breathe in, taking the arms up, and breathe out, drawing the elbows back, really firm in the buttocks and the legs. Maybe a little bit more neutral as you come back to center, breathing in, reaching forward and up, breathing out, drawing the elbows back and down, really opening the chest, firm in the legs and the buttocks. Breathing in, forward and up. Breathing out, drawing the elbows back and down. Let's just do one more like that. Again, trying to feel that sensation of opening across the chest, gliding of the shoulder blades to aid that shape of the body. Fantastic stuff. So from here, we're going to come into downward dog. Doesn't matter how you get there. You can bring your knees back together, hands to the floor, and gently press into a down dog. We want to keep our knees really bent, press the chest towards the thighs, maybe give our hips a little bit of a wiggle, maybe the head a little bit of a turn from side to side. So our object here is not necessarily lengthening the backs of the legs, but if you want to enjoy a little bit of paddling of the heels, then remember to keep the tailbone pointing upwards, tilting upwards, that lift in the belly, that engagement into even the hands, strengthening the upper back. If you've got a support under your knee, just moving it to the opposite side, and then you can bring your knees down and step forward with your left foot. Again, tucking the back toes under if it feels more supportive, pressing the foot into the floor if that's preferred. And in this upright lunge position, not too lungy to begin with, we're just easing the hips backwards and forwards, feeling that open space down the right side of the body at the front, but also feeling the legs really engaging to support the movement, which is what we want. We want to create that support from which we move. Let's do a couple more of these. It's a really nice thing to do if you sit a lot in your day as well. So when you're ready, coming back to this more upright position, we can add our arms. We're breathing in to take the arms forward and up, and then breathing out to draw the elbows back behind the body, lifting the chin, opening the chest, feeling that gliding sensation in the upper back. If you want to, you can move your legs with you, breathing in to open, breathing out, drawing the elbows back and down. Maybe a slightly more neutral space to start from. Breathing in to lift the arms up, breathing out to draw the elbows back and down. Lovely. We'll just do one more. Breathing in, reaching forward. Breathing out, gliding the shoulder blades down. Super stuff. When you're ready, coming back into downward facing dog, just giving yourself a little paddle Or with soft knees, a little wriggle of the hips from side to side, pressing the chest towards the thighs, just keeping engaged through the upper back and the arms, that space underneath the shoulder blades, doing whatever feels good. When you're ready, you can move your support back underneath the left knee and bring yourself back into a lunge position. Awesome sauce. So here we might need our blocks. So if you've got a block handy, let's pop that down on the right side of the body. Do you know what? We're going to put one on each side of the body because we can. If you've got two, that's fine. If you don't, just one on the right side of the body. That's all good. So we've got the right foot forward. I'm going to tuck my back toes under now because I want a bit more strength through my legs. It encourages me to press that foot into the floor. Excuse me. I'm going to do some movements through the spine while we're in this position. So the first thing we're going to do is feel a little gentle tuck under of the pelvis. If that feels supportive to you, if that engages your buttocks, engages in the legs, then that's a great thing to do. If that feels too tucked under, then just come back to a more neutral position. Then we're going to reach the arms out wide as we are upright. We're going to take the right hand down to the right block and the left arm up and over, just reaching to that left side. If for any reason you don't touch the block, don't worry about it. Just let your right fingertips come to the floor, left fingertips up and over. And then we're going to take the left hand to the left block, right arm up and over. Again, nice and firm in the belly, keeping the chest open and coming back to the center. Then we're going to take cactus arms. We're bent at the elbows. Doesn't matter where the palms are facing. Bent at the elbows. We're going to press into the feet, firm the belly, and rotate to the right. So the left elbow comes across the body to the right. And then we're unwinding left hand to the left buttock or hip and right arm lifting up and over, really firm in the feet and the buttocks. And then cartwheeling the arms forward, reach the right hand forward, then the left hand forward, long over the front leg. You can have your toes lifted or not, you can have your knee bent or not, settling your hips towards your heels as much as feels good to you, and then pressing into the feet to come back to the upright lunge. Everyone okay? I'm going to do that a couple more times. So we're going to reach the arms wide, take the right hand down, the left arm over, nice and firm across the belly and the buttocks. Come to the opposite side, left hand down, right arm over. Lovely side bend to each side. Cactus arms, rotate to the right. And then unwind, reach your left hand down, maybe to your hip, maybe to your heel. Reach the right arm up and over, firm between the shoulder blades. Cartwheel the arms forward and let the hips come back towards the heels. Maybe lifting the toe or keeping the toes down. Press into the feet to come to an upright lunge. One more time. Reaching the arms wide and then right hand down, left arm up and over. Really feel how supportive the legs are as you move. Come back to center, cactus arms, rotate to the right. Unwind, take the left hand to your hip, to your leg, to your heel, whichever feels good. Reach the right arm up and over, and then press off the feet, firm in the belly, cartwheel the arms forward, come into your forward bending position. From here, come back to your lunge, hands on the floor, and step back into downward facing dog. Now that left leg has been quite active, so we're going to give it a little bit of a release. So feet towards each other, chest towards thighs, lifting your tailbone, lift your left leg up, just roll through your ankle a couple of times in each direction. And then if it feels good, you can bend and stretch that knee a little bit. Do whatever feels like it's useful before releasing your foot down. Move your support to the opposite knee. Bring the right knee down and the left foot forward into your lunge, and we'll do the whole thing on this side. So nice and firm across the belly and the buttocks, maybe that gentle tuck under. We'll take the arms wide, and with this time we take the left hand down to the left side, the right arm up and over first, and then coming back to the center, right hand down to the right block, left arm up and over. Come back to the center, take cactus arms, and then revolve to the left. Right elbow towards left knee. Unwind, take that right hand behind the right hip, press into the feet, firm the belly, reach the left arm up and over, and then cartwheel the arms forward. Let the hips come back a little, soften that front knee, maybe lifting the toes, keeping the toes down, hips towards the heel as much as feels comfortable, and then back into your upright lunge position, arms nice and wide. Firm belly and buttocks, left hand down, right arm up and over. Feel that lovely stretch, and then coming to the opposite side. Returning back to the center, nice and firm in the feet, bending at the elbows, rotating to the left. Unwinding, reaching the right hand back behind you, maybe to your right heel, reaching the left arm up and over. Press into the feet to cartwheel the arms and come back into your release, hips to heels. Going upright, reaching the arms wide one more time. So firm in the belly, reaching the left hand down, the right arm up and over. Firm in the legs as you switch to the opposite side. Coming back to the center, really anchored in the legs, cactus arms, rotating to the left. Feel that space between the shoulder blades working, unwinding. And as you unwind, reach your right hand to your hip, to your heel, left arm up and over. And then cartwheeling the arms forwards, lengthening through that front leg, letting the hips come towards the heel. Hips come towards the back heel, and then coming into downward facing dog. And in your downward dog, giving yourself a little wiggle. And if you feel that that right leg needs to release a little bit more, bring the feet towards each other, press chest towards thighs, scoop the belly in, lift the right leg up. Just a little rotating of the ankle in each direction, maybe a little bend and stretch of that knee. And when you're ready, you can come into child's pose. So knees wide, hips towards heels, reaching the arms forward, forehead to the floor. Take a few moments here, just softening the body towards the floor. And then you can make your decision. So that's a really nice position to lengthen the back. But if you want a little bit more rounding through the back, the knees can come towards each other, and maybe resting the shoulders a bit better by having the hands towards the ankles. Choose the position that works best for you. You can even be upright. Just a quiet kneeling position is fine. So that's an awful lot of movement for the body. Give your body a chance to just feel the effects of your posture. Let go of some of the effort. Recover the heart rate, the breath rate. And when you're ready, you can come up into an upright position. Whatever upright position works for you. So what we've done there with the whole of the body, of course, is really strengthening and opening and lengthening. Hopefully you feel amazingly energized and ready for our prone back bending. So for prone back bending, sometimes people get a little bit knobbly hips on the floor. So you can actually have a folded blanket or a very small block like this, or a cushion of some kind underneath the hips, if that helps you. And we're going to, let me just have a quick sip of water. We're going to come to lying down on our bellies and work through the prone back bending series. So for any time when we're doing this practice, you feel like you need to release your back the opposite way, please feel free to take child's pose or rest out of a pose. Come back to it when you watch the recording or at another time in your practice. Don't push too much all in one go. So we're coming to lying on the belly. We're going to make a pillow out of the hands to begin with, and rest the forehead on the back of the hands. Now, if you want to turn your head to one side, you absolutely can. Excuse me. You absolutely can, but just do what feels right for your neck. The more neutral position is sometimes a little bit more useful. You can turn your toes in and your heels out a little bit. The toes don't need to touch. You just get that sense of releasing in the low back. And we can shuggle our hips from side to side. Shuggle is a very Scottish word, just means to give a little shimmery shake. And as we do that, we're nestling the front of the legs, the pelvis, the belly into the floor a little bit as well. When you're ready, coming to some stillness, allowing the body to be really heavy, switching off any effort from the belly muscles, that space between the shoulder blades, the back of the neck, the buttocks, the legs, and just breathing a few longer, deeper breaths. So in this position, our spine finds its natural S curve. It's very restful for the body. We're not really in a back bend. We're not really in a forward bend. We're quite neutral. We're going to move from here into Sphinx pose. So here, we just lift the upper body enough to slide the elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms and palms of the hands on the floor. And often with back bending, wider legs feels more comfortable. So you can explore with your position of your legs. I was always taught that the thighs being close together was the best position to be in, but I think everyone should find their own way. So just nestling the hips into the floor. Once you've established the position of your legs, feels good to your low back, roll your shoulder blades towards each other and glide them down the back to open your chest. And that might mean that you lift your chin a little, or it might mean that you're still looking between your hands. As you move your chin up and down, try to find the position where your neck feels it's in line with what the rest of the spine is doing. We want to actively press into the hands and the forearms as well here. So we create a little bit of lift underneath the body, firm the buttocks, press the pubic bone down, engage in the belly muscles. Sphinx pose is usually a pose of stillness, as in we don't really do anything else here apart from breathe, but it really practices this engagement of the belly muscles, the pubic bone pressing down, the legs being engaged, tops of the feet into the floor, belly, buttock muscles working as well, and that sense of drawing the shoulder blades towards each other and down the back. So that's the bottom of the shoulder blades moving in, the tops of the shoulder blades moving out. When you're ready, you can gently release back into your prone position, forehead down on the hands. Maybe turning to one side if you prefer, turning to the opposite side if you've had your head turned one direction, always counter with the opposite. And then if you can, just slightly turn your toes in and your heels out and take a couple of deep breaths. Soften all the effort across the face, the shoulders, the belly, the buttocks, the legs. Allow that deep, deep breath to find space in the low back and release any tension or sensitivity from that area. When you're ready, you can come into Cobra pose. So for Cobra pose, we are going to bring the legs a little bit closer together. Take the hands underneath the shoulders. You can take the hands in front of the shoulders if that feels better to you, or if you prefer it. But we are going to aim towards having the hands under the shoulders because that's where they're the most supportive. Forehead starts on the mat. And then here, We're going to roll the shoulder blades towards each other. Again, it's that gliding sensation, the bottom of the shoulder blades coming in, the tops coming out, elbows close towards the body, and you can maybe already feel a sense of lift underneath the chest. Press your pubic bone down, press the tops of the feet into the mat, firm the buttocks, and then gently lift your belly muscles. And we're just lifting the head and possibly chest up a little, and then releasing down. The chin does not move. We're not leading with the chin. We're gently engaging the low body and that space between the shoulder blades to lift and lower. Let us do 2 more of these lift and lowers. Really firm in the belly and the buttocks. Really keeping the elbows close towards the body and allowing the head to be in a position that keeps the neck neutral. Very good. Then we're going to come up and hold. So for Cobra Pose, we keep the elbows bent, pressing the pubic bone down, engaging the legs, engaging the belly muscles, the buttocks, rolling the body up away from the floor, keeping the elbows bent, rolling the shoulder blades down, and just taking your head to wherever is neutral for your neck. So we do want the neck to be in line with the rest of the spine. We don't want the chin to be dipped forwards. And just breathing here, keeping that belly engaged, keeping the legs engaged, keeping that sense of open across the chest. When you're ready, releasing all the way down, make a pillow out of your hands, turn your head to one side, or forehead on the back of the hands. Toes turned inwards, heels turned outwards, give the hips a little bit of a shimmery shake from side to side. So the prone back bends are really opening of the chest. They have this great sense of stimulating the energy in the body and lifting our spirits, which is great, especially on dark days over the winter time. We're just going to do a little crocodile pose while we're here. So widen your legs as much as feels comfortable. Turn the toes outwards if that feels okay. So the insides of the feet are towards the floor, the inner knees towards the floor as well. And if you are comfortable here, you can keep your forehead resting down. You might need to make a little bit of effort with the legs to hold this position, but when you're there, see if you can relax that effort. And just allow your belly to be soft as you breathe. If it feels too twisty in your knees, adjust the position of your feet so that it doesn't feel twisty. You can point them back the way or turn the toes in the way if that feels better to you. One more deep breath in and out. And then we're bringing the legs back towards each other, thighs towards each other, and we'll take the hands a little bit wider than the body, forehead to the floor. We're going to come into a wide-armed cobra here. So rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, press the pubic bone down, engage the tops of the feet down, engage the belly and the buttocks, and then pressing into the hands to come up into your cobra. Make sure that your shoulder blades are still working together. Shoulders are still down, elbows are still moving towards the body. And then here, we can gently move the chest from side to side. So we get this perhaps sense of sway, like a cobra would indeed sway. If that's too much, if it doesn't feel good to your back, you don't need to do it. The elbows remain bent, the shoulders are down, the belly is lifted. And then from here, we can do a twisted cobra. So you can take the left shoulder towards the floor as you turn to face towards the right, and then press up in the center and take the right shoulder towards the floor as you turn to face to the left. We can go from side to side. If this feels like it's not right for you today, hold in the center or go up and down without twisting. Keep that space between the shoulders, engaging, but notice how the shoulder blades move differently as you do this twist. Notice how beautifully open across the chest you feel with the shoulder that's coming towards the floor. Let's do one more to each side. Still engaging in the legs, the buttocks, the belly. When you're ready, coming back to the center, or folding yourself towards the mat, making a pillow out of your hands, resting the head on the back of the hands, toes turned inwards, heels turned upwards. Take a couple of deeper breaths here. Now we're going to move the focus into the low body, but we want to keep the upper body nice and still and steady. So if possible, forehead on the back of the hands rather than turning to one side or another. We want to keep the upper body nice and heavy. So the elbows, the forehead, the chest, all in contact with the floor. We can soften that space between the shoulder blades and really let it rest as we work into our Salabhasana, locust pose in the legs. So bringing the legs towards each other. We're still going to start with the pubic bone pressing down. I'm going to press the left foot into the floor and lift the right leg up, long and straight. And then we reach the right leg back down, press the right foot into the floor, lift the left leg up, long and straight. And then we just go from side to side. So we're always engaging the belly, we're always engaging the buttocks, we're engaging the upper body towards the mat as we gently lift and lower the left leg now, pressing the right foot down. We're countering that lift by pressing down with the right foot. Let's do one more to each side. Nice long legs, gentle engagement across the whole of the body. And then just taking a little rest here, turning the toes in, heels out, giving the hips a little shimmer. And notice if you've made more tension than you needed to make, if that makes sense. Now, we're not going to do every locust variation today, but we will do the next one with the chin on the floor. So if you prefer this variation with the forehead down, you can stick with it. But if you want to do a little bit more, then you can take your hands and roll them underneath the body so that you're drawing the upper arms towards each other. The palms can be facing down, or you can face them inwards. You can make a fist, whatever feels good. So upper arms are pressing down, chin is on the floor. We're still having that sensation of lengthening the pubic bone down to create a little bit of length in the low body. Again, pressing the left foot down, lifting the right leg up, and gently going to the opposite side. Right leg down, left leg up. We're just gently going to go from side to side 2 more times. Really using the leverage of the arms pressing into the floor to help the lift in the legs here as well. You can't help but engage your buttocks. And when you've done 3 to each side, just resting the arms away from the body. See if you can turn one ear towards the floor, leaving the shoulders down. If you prefer, you can place the hands underneath the head again. If you need to, give your hips a little wiggle from side to side. Take a couple of deeper breaths, and if you have your head turned, you can turn the opposite way. Just allowing the effort to release from the arms and the legs, the belly, the chest. So now we're going to move into our bow pose. So if you haven't done bow for a while, Dhanurasana, you might want to look and just see what we're going to do. We are going to just go straight into a double-legged bow. So some people like a belt for this around the feet. If that's the case, then go for it. So from our prone position, we're going to start with the forehead on the floor and just bending the knees, bringing the feet quite close to the buttocks. I quite like to widen my feet to catch hold of them, but then I want to bring the feet and the knees towards each other a little bit more. So my legs are not too wide. Here, if possible, flex your feet, and you'll find that that automatically creates a little bit of length along the front of the legs. And then we're rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, pressing the pubic bone down, engaging the buttocks, and then we're going to lift head, chest, and heels at the same time. And we just want to go up and down a couple of times. So joining in when you're ready, holding the heels behind you or the feet behind you, and then pressing up with the heels, rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, lifting the chin as well. And gently releasing down. Let's just do one more, and this time we'll hold. So pressing the pubic bone down, feeling that engagement through the body to lift. And in your lifted position, you might like to rock backwards and forwards. Like completely optional, but it's really nice for your digestive system apparently. And then when you're ready, gently releasing all the way down, pillow out of the hands, forehead on the back of the hands, or turn to one side, lengthen the legs, give a little shuggle of the hips from side to side. And then a couple of deeper breaths. You will notice that your heart rate is increased. It always does in prone back bends. It's quite good for the health of the heart, to build a strong heart. However, just always working at a place that feels good for your body. We're going to take a child's pose to release. So hands underneath the shoulders, coming back through hands and knees, maybe widening the knees if that feels good to you. You can keep them closer together if you prefer. Walk the hands forward, forehead to the floor, and just give your hips a little sway from side to side, easing any tension out of the low back. For those who want a more rounded position and slightly more restful for the shoulders, knees can come together, forehead comes to the floor, arms release back so the hands are next to the ankles. Whichever position you feel is right for you, just holding as you breathe, softening the belly, the muscles across the back, the buttocks. When you feel ready, you can come up into any upright position. Oh, fantastic stuff. So we have concluded our back bending bit of the class, I hope, but we're going to do a couple of yin poses to counteract some of the big effort that we've made. So when we practice yin yoga, we sustain the poses, we hold the poses for longer as we allow a passive opening of the body. And that's really important in practice where you've done something really strong, is that holding stillness and just allowing the softness to gradually happen to your muscles. It's a really lovely way to finish a practice. So the first thing that we're going to do is a pose called broken branches. And for this, we need a block and a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you need maybe several firm pillows or cushions wrapped in a blanket will do. We're going to place the block around about neck length from, or maybe a little bit further actually, from the end of the bolster. And we're going to bring the front of the body to the bolster, but we want the shoulders and chest to be a little bit free so that here we can take our forehead down to the bolster and slide the arms underneath the body. So I've got the right arm on top of the left arm. I'm going to wrap my arms around so that I'm holding onto my upper back or the outsides of the shoulders. Just want to make sure that I've got enough space here. You might want to move your block a little bit more or shift your body, making sure that you're comfortable wherever you are. And when you are comfortable, allow the backs of the hands to drop towards the mat. And we're supporting the low body with the knees and the feet on the floor and the center of the body over the bolster. So here we're going to take around about 10 deep breaths, softening the face, letting go of any effort that we find in the body. So if you find effort in your thighs or your legs, your buttocks, your belly, the back of the neck, space between the shoulder blades, just softening, allowing the fingers to be lightly curled. And finding the slowest, steadiest breath that feels good to you in this moment. At the end of your next exhalation, just preparing to move, we're gently going to ease the arms out from underneath the body to the back to where they were. And we're going to bring ourselves upright into a kneeling position using the bolster for support as we kneel upright. So we're not creating a little bit of lift underneath the hips. And then here in this upright position, more neutral in the body, just noticing how that feels. Perhaps you feel a little bit released across the back, which hopefully is the case, or across the shoulders. And then taking your time to feel this rebound from the pose that we were in before coming into that pose again, but having the arms the opposite way. So bringing yourself again to lie over your bolster, support your forehead on the block, and then sliding this time the left arm, in front of the right, or doing the opposite side if that was the one that you did first. So reaching the hands around the body to hold on to the upper back and shoulders, or wherever outside of the arms, wherever is good, to move the elbows as far underneath to the opposite side as is possible, making sure that you feel really well supported, and then relaxing the backs of the hands to the floor. And we're holding for about 10 deep breaths. Again, searching out any areas of holding or tension. Perhaps noticing the space between the shoulder blades and in the area of the low back. Allowing the fingers to be lightly curled, the arms really relaxed. Softening your face as you find that soft, slow breath. At the end of your next exhalation, just preparing to move. Little gentle lift in the belly muscles, perhaps as you slide the shoulders, the arms, back to their original place. And then nice and slowly come into an upright position. It could be kneeling, it could be sitting, whatever feels good in this moment. So as you come back to upright, just allowing your body to find its way there. I've probably got a really big red mark across my forehead, but we're going to move the block to one side. If you've got access to a wall or a sofa, then the next pose is legs up the wall, and we're going to do this with our bolsters as well, if possible. So just allowing your bolster to find its a good shape, and coming to your bit of wall, you might want some warmer layers on. We're not doing this pose for relaxation. This is still part of our winding down. So whenever you're ready, bringing yourself as close to the wall as feels comfortable for your legs. So you don't have to have your legs straight, you don't have to have your buttocks on the wall, but we do want the wall to support the feet and to find this sense of contact with the back of the body and the floor. So particularly the back of the head. So allowing the back of the head to be really heavy, maybe reaching the arms away from the body so we can allow that space between the shoulder blades, which we've just opened so well with our previous pose, just finding a little softness and release there. If it's helpful here, you can turn your head from one side to the other, little gentle roll, letting the weight of the head be carried by the floor. And then we are going to place our bolsters, for those who want to, on the feet. So this requires us to do a little bit of circus tomfoolery, but bending your knees in towards you, placing the bolster on the soles of the feet, and then lengthening the legs back up the wall. Just make sure that your bolster is evenly balanced, and you can feel the weight of the bolster into the soles of the feet, and that weight really securing the legs into the hips and the back of the pelvis into the floor. So here, place the arms wherever is comfortable. You might want them over your head, you might want them out to the side, or hands on the belly, whatever works for you, as long as the shoulders and elbows are relaxed and the hands are touching something. Once you find that position that feels good to you, you're taking about 10 deep breaths. Don't worry about counting, just simply softening the body as much as you can, particularly across the face, the chest, the belly, the legs. Slow and steady rhythm of breath. At the end of your next exhalation, preparing to move. If your arms are up, then drawing them back towards your center. And just softening the knees towards you so that you can ease the bolster off the feet. And then take the legs a little bit up the wall again, just feeling the lightness in the legs, the air kissing the soles of the feet, maybe a little light in your pelvis. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knees into your chest, hug them towards you, and roll to one side to come up into an upright position. And we're preparing now for relaxation. So if you haven't already put on some warm layers, then now is the time. If you haven't already got your blanket, again, now is the time. And today you might like to have more than one blanket. I'm just going to put one underneath my body as well as one on top. And I'm also going to use my bolster, but that's entirely optional for you. Excuse me. So if you do want your bolster underneath the backs of your knees, it's quite a nice thing to do anytime you've been doing back bending practice, because it allows that heaviness to come into the back of the pelvis, nice and supportive. But joining me in Shavasana when you are ready. And of course, if you prefer a different posture for relaxation, you can totally take that, no worries. So we've had quite the slow, steady wind down towards relaxation today. So as you come into Shavasana, you might find that your body is already quite softened. But we're going to practice lion's face pose anyway, because it helps us to release tension from the face. So screw all the muscles of the face in towards the nose, make a tight lemon sucking face. Then eyes open, mouth open, tongue out, exhale. Close the eyes, gently roll the head from one side to the other a couple of times. And then we'll do that one more time. So in the center, screw all the muscles of the face in towards the nose, tight lemon sucking face. Then eyes open, mouth open, tongue out, exhale. Close the eyes, relax the face, gently roll the head from one side to the other. And this time, nice and slowly, as you feel a letting go, releasing of any residual effort across the neck, the shoulders, the upper back, the arms. When you're ready, you can bring your head back to center, make any final adjustments and fidgets before bringing your body to stillness. Take a deep breath in and simply sigh softly as you exhale. We'll repeat that 3 more times. A deep breath in, letting go of all the effort of practice as you exhale. A deep breath in and beginning to soften and relax your muscles. A deep breath in and surrender your weight down into your mat. Allow the breath to fall back into its natural rhythm, falling into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead, feel it soften, that space between the eyebrows spreading, the area around the eyes relaxing, the mouth, tongue, and jaw releasing. Move your awareness into the back of your body. Become aware of all of the parts of the back of the body in contact with your bolster or your mat. The back of the head, the upper back, shoulder blades, shoulders, backs of the arms and hands, the buttocks, parts of the backs of the legs, the heels of the feet. Experience the sensation of contact between your body and the floor or the bolster. Move your awareness to all the parts of the back of the body that are not in contact with something. The back of the neck, the wrists, perhaps parts of the back of the body, the space between the buttocks and the thighs, the Achilles, and the soles of the feet. Experience the sensation of space between your body and the floor. Allow the whole of the back of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, and releasing down. Move your awareness to the front of your body. Become aware of the space over you and around you. Feel the touch of air on your face. The movement of your clothes on your skin as you breathe. The weight and the warmth of the blanket over you. The sensation of holding space in the palms of the hands. Allow the whole of the front of the body to feel open, light, freely moving with your breath. Draw your awareness to your breath, finding that slow, steady rhythm, allowing the body to relax a little deeper with every exhalation. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back to your hands and your feet by moving your fingers, your toes, maybe rolling the wrists and the ankles. When you feel ready, you can take a deep breath in and stretch the body in any way that feels good. Maybe stretch the face, there you are. Maybe stretch the right side and then the left side of the body. Arms and the legs. When you feel ready, you can bend your knees into your chest, just hug them towards you. Make any movements that feel good, perhaps a little gentle stirring of the knees in circles to massage the low back into the mat, the back of the pelvis releasing. When you feel ready, you can roll to one side and just take a moment curled up on your side, letting your body come round a little at a time. If you can, keeping your eyes closed, containing that sense of stillness and peacefulness within, come into any comfortable upright position. And then we're going to rest the hands over the heart as we sit tall. Take a moment, perhaps drawing the chin towards the chest. With our practice today, we have opened the heart. We've really mobilized that area. If you find yourself a little emotional or joyful, don't be surprised. Just allow any emotions that come up to come out, to be released. And then notice the calm that follows that release. Smiling gently to yourself. When you're ready, raising your head, opening your eyes, releasing your hands. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. I hope that you've enjoyed this joyful lifting of the spirits, opening of the heart, and stirring of the energy. And I will see you for another practice soon. Namaste.